baseball, not always the best team wins, right? You got to still go out there and get it done.
Hello, everyone. Welcome out to Recruits Baseball Club. We're in the practice factory. Pretty cool space here. We were here with the Player Spotlight. Had a lot of fun. Today, we want to talk about youth baseball. I think it's a subject matter that, some of these subjects may be a little controversial. I don't know, but we're going to do it anyway. And I have with me Tyler Michelle down at the far end, Dave Wiggins and Todd Stein. These gentlemen, directors, I don't know official titles, right? Owner, director.
Hitting coordinator.
There you go.
Offensive coordinator.
Hitting
guy.
We thought we would start. We're going to do this as a series. We're going to come out to a lot of the different clubs and get a feel for what these gentlemen are saying from that 8U to 14U level. Because I think that, you hear a lot of people talk about things and say this and say that, but, it's always kind of in the corner. Somebody's like, man, don't tell nobody I said that. And I just think that to me is, why don't we talk about these things openly? I think we should, because I think it would maybe create a little better atmosphere overall in youth baseball. Agreed?
Agreed. I mean, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
So today we want to start the first subject we want to talk about, because I think when you're talking about 8U to 14U, the word development is thrown around a lot. Do we really know what development is?
I mean, for us, at the end of the day, development's getting them ready for high school baseball.
Okay.
So, I mean, we get them in when they're 7 and 8 years old. They're on machine pitch. Some of them don't even know what hand they throw with yet. Teaching them to, enjoy the game and have a passion, learn where the bases are, learn the positions, I think is kind of step one. Learn how to play catch, learn how the game is played. And then obviously from there, by the time we send them off to the high school coaches, I mean, they need to have a concept of first and thirds and bunt defenses and picks and relays and cuts and all of that stuff. So it's, every year that goes on, there's more and more that, we put in place for the kids. And the end goal is to get them ready for you guys when they're freshmen, be ready to walk on the field and play for one of these guys.
And I know you guys down here coaching in high school. To me, running through a lot of these things, when you talk about youth baseball, I think for too long, and I've heard it ringing in my ear when my kid was growing up and all through this is, what college do I want to go to? What college do I? Hey, well, you're 11, right? Do you still hear some of that?
Not as much, but yes, we do. Things on the college side have changed a little bit and pushed things back to some normalcy a little bit. So that goes away to an extent. But yeah, I mean, there's always, people that are getting a little bit ahead of themselves.
Right. And it's, Dave, you're a head coach and dealing with these things. When you see kids coming in as freshmen, are they really prepared for high school baseball?
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on where they played. It depends on where they played. Basically from, I would say, 10U on up. Being plainly honest, being at Webster Groves for as long as I was, we had a large number of kids that were not prepared to play baseball at the high school level. And there's levels to it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they were a little more prepared for freshman ball and maybe for JV by their sophomore year. But I mean, you can go back and look. We had very few underclassmen that could play varsity baseball at Webster for the 6 years I was there. And that was something that we were big on when we came in and we took over that staff, was how can we get these kids playing better baseball earlier?
Yeah.
How can we get them developing earlier so that we don't get a 14-year-old who's got all the ability in the world but is clueless when he's on the baseball field? we're big believers as at least I am as a high school coach. I would love for any player that's going to step into my program to have at least played AA baseball by the time they were a 7th or an 8th grader. It's hard to play rec baseball or single A baseball and then expect to go be an impact player at a high school.
Agree.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the kids that get on the field faster at the varsity level have played higher level baseball leading up until high school, for the most part.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the competition that they're playing, but it's about the people that are around them that are developing them, that are helping them become better baseball players. Dads do a great job of putting confidence and helping their kids become the best players they can be. Some dads do a better job than others. Some dads have a baseball background. Some dads have a training background in our sport. Some dads are great cheerleaders.
Right.
I would prefer the cheerleader dads not really coach my middle school kids before they get to high school. I prefer to surround my kids with people who understand the game, who know what they're doing, who've been in the game for a while, and who have a proven track record of developing young kids to be ready to play high school baseball.
I said this before we started. We were talking about some of these subjects, and we say development, okay, the big D word, right? But honestly, what does development look to a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old? What is development in that process?
I think a big part of it starts with them wanting to be there. And I think some of it is on us. Like they have to enjoy the game a little bit. They have to have fun. I think it's easier when they're younger to have some, buddies and friends on the team that are familiar, so that they can, open up a little bit, feel comfortable, relax. I mean, sometimes practices are a little bit intense. I can see some of the younger kids get intimidated with that stuff at times, and they're trying to not upset the coach or mom or dad or whoever, and instead of listening to like what you're saying. There's a lot going on.
You can see it in them there.
You can just see it in their face. I mean, I have all of our 14-year-olds this year. A lot of them, we started when we were 7, 8. I don't even. We played in the machine pitch league. I'm not sure we won a game.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. The kids got better. We practiced a lot more than we played. And I think that was a big year to, show everyone a little bit of like kind of what was out there. I mean, we played some teams that, the kids have been hitting off the pitching machine since they were, in diapers, and we had kids that some of them never, really played before. Mm-hmm. And I think seeing it, until you see it, it's hard to know what's age appropriate. Like, what should my kid be doing at 7? Should he be able to play catch? Should he be able to hit off the pitching machine? Should he feel the ground ball?
Right. And one of the things that I love that thought process, because to me, you have an 8-year-old. Can you have 3 basic drills that will help them understand the movement patterns of how to throw, how to catch, and how to swing the baseball, or swing the bat, I should say?
Yeah. Yes, you can. I think they need to be pretty basic.
Yeah,
I mean, as dialed down as you can think of at the youngest ages. I think they need to be consistent. I think sometimes we want to get a little bit too quick to the next thing. And we tend to move off of what we just worked really hard on, and it doesn't necessarily translate when you start working on the next thing and the next thing.
Yeah.
I just think that at the younger ages, things need to be slowed down a little bit. I think they need to be made fun. If the kids get bored, what you say doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They're not there.
Some of them can't walk. Some of them can't skip. Some of them can't jump. I mean, the 3 of us sitting here that have young children, it's like, we go to little gym, right? We go to swimming lessons. We do, gymnastic stuff. And I think, helping them, get a little bit more, maybe coordinated is a better word for the little kids than athletic, right? I think that goes a long way. And I think those things definitely, show.
Sure.
As they're trying to learn a skill that they've never done before. The ones that have done more of like that stuff, played a little, soccer or basketball or, whatever it is. I think those kids pick up the athletic movement's a little bit quicker. I mean, from practice and also when they're working with these guys in, lessons and one-on-one stuff, I mean, it's definitely easier to train the kids that, have done some of that stuff before.
Absolutely. Body awareness.
One of the things I loved what you said about we're too quick to move off
Yeah.
of a drill, and just consistent. And I always liken it to, you've been around the high school kids and this teaching. What is teaching? Teaching is repetition. And honestly, it's kind of boring to the teacher.
Yeah.
It can be. And if you're not invested in the kids, I think that's where it can go real wrong. And that's why I think some of the things move off is, are we really invested as an instructor in that repetition? Because how long did it take you to learn your times tables?
That's where the parents come into play a little bit too.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's more invested in the kids than the parents.
I agree.
That was
I
sure.
agree.
And that
I
goes-
agree.
I would have learned my times tables a whole lot slower if I hadn't have gone home and had mom and dad help drill them into my head.
For sure.
Right? So yeah, there needs to be some sort of parental buy-in there where, like for me, I'm taking my son to swim lessons right now. He's 4 years old.
Yeah.
He literally hates it. He doesn't want to go.
Thanks, Dave.
Right.
He doesn't want to go. The moment he gets there, he seems fine. But it's just my job when he gets in the car to just remind him of how much fun he had. Hey, buddy, you had fun. I was watching. I saw what you were working on. It looks like your teacher was being really nice to you.
And they're doing the same thing over and over again.
Right, over and over again. We're getting used to being in the water. We're getting used to having water dumped on our head.
Yeah.
And I mean, for him, someone who has tubes in his ears, like he's terrified of getting water on his head. So I think sometimes we as parents can be quick to, because I found myself wanting to jump through the glass when I see him have a frown on his face or not want to do something they're doing and be like, dude, get it together, let's do it. But I have to remember that's the teacher's job. My job is to sit back and encourage and reinforce just showing up and enjoying it and having fun.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I think that it's hard. It's hard for me with a 4-year-old. I can only imagine what I'm going to be doing when he has his first pitching lesson with Todd or Chad or Connor. I'm going to have to go home. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch it.
Do you think we've built enough trust between parent and instructor, the team coach, whatever the case may be? Have we built enough trust there?
Sometimes, I think. I think sometimes for sure. I think there's a lot of parents that look at us as, the professionals and the experts,
Sure.
and we've played and we've coached and we've scouted and we've taught and worked with kids of all ages and things like that, and they fully buy into what we're doing. And then there's other parents that think they know a lot more than, they really do. It's part of it.
That's a fair point. I
part
don't
of it.
disagree, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the balance has to be. I've said this for quite some time. I believe this very much. A parent takes their child to a tryout. Okay. Why did you go to the tryout?
Because you had interest in the team.
Not usually.
Oh, that's
Just-
what we would hope.
That's what you would hope, but that's the thing. And I think
but
this
you're
is what
right.
we're doing.
Give a lot
They're
of
going
that, yeah.
because,
Some of them
well,
are
can I
using
get this team?
as an
Can I
extra
get,
practice.
well, we would just let this, I want this team, or, oh, I heard about them. They're really good. Well, what do you know about who's coaching that team? What do you know about the program? Do you know the director? Have you talked to the director? Have you done any have you called them and said, hey, look, I'm thinking about coming to your tryout?
Their idea of
I
good
would
is
like to
weird.
know what your program's about. What's your philosophy? What do you guys do as they get older? And for the most part, where are the kids that are on your teams going to school? I don't think we ask any of these questions personally, and I think that's where a lot of this stuff and people get disenchanted. And it's not necessarily anybody's fault. It's just I think there's just a serious lack of communication.
I mean, I think some people, do that for the right reasons, and I think others, maybe not so much.
I think it's very easy with the amount of clubs we have
Yeah.
to very quickly become disenchanted with the team or the program you're in.
Fair.
Feel like the grass is greener somewhere else. Like my son, when he tried out, we had full confidence he was going to be on the A team. When teams came out in the winter, he was put on the B team. what organization out there will put him on the A team? I think it's more about that than it is buying into his development. Some of
Well, you
these,
said people say good. Well,
Yeah.
well, you have a good program. I see you win a lot of games. You shouldn't be asking me about that. You should be asking about how we're going to help him hit better, catch better, field better, how we're going to get him, locked in with, his work habits and get him prepared for that. I mean, they don't. You guys care how many games they win at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12?
Never look.
They wouldn't even. They wouldn't even know. Unfortunately, we get judged on wins and losses, and it should really be judged on. It's like, hey, this kid, couldn't play catch when he was 9, and now he's able to, help him on his freshman team or JV team or whatever. I don't know how I look at it from a parent perspective.
Right.
Wanting the kids to, get better and improve and develop. I mean, the games are kind of the test if we're ready or not, if we're there yet or not, or how good we are, or, maybe it kind of helps you map out what you need to work on as an individual and as a team, right?
I think it's interesting because I want to go to, because we just recently, we had a conversation with Coach Scott in a coach's preview. I think Lindbergh is going to be a very good team this year. I mean, but when you're looking at the kids coming in, the freshmen, I think that's where the win, how many of those freshmen couldn't play JV baseball?
Can? Oh.
last year, all of them.
Yeah, it seriously. I mean, it
depends, doesn't it?
depends. It's year to year.
And that's
Ours-
not is it necessarily, are these kids coming in ready to play even for, I mean, I don't know if people really understand, that a Lindbergh in Class 6 freshman ball or a JV squad that could probably go and beat a lot of varsity squads in maybe Class 2 or 3. Agreed?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think it's a fair point.
Yeah.
Not all, don't
Right.
get me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think I don't know if we really understand the whole broad scope of it.
Yeah. The best classes that we've had collectively
Yeah.
are usually when we have a group of kids that play at a very high level, but with each other for quite a long time. And that's kind of what we had last year. And the last Final Four run that we made was very similar. We had a group of kids that played at a very high level. They played together. They were familiar with each other. They were ready to go. And
how it
that
should
makes
be.
a huge difference.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that's what we see. I'll tell you what, 2 programs that are just rock solid in this state have that. And it's not in this area. It's in Southwest Missouri. And
Right.
Coach McGee,
Yeah,
been to their youth programs.
Yep.
Coach Hughes at Nixa,
Nixa.
been to their youth programs. Those kids grow up playing baseball together.
We've seen it. We've seen this. We've seen some of those teams, like even at the youth levels.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting because you see some of those, Nixa. I mean, we played Nixa in I forget where we were a couple of years ago. There you go.
Down at ballpark.
And I mean, they just played baseball the right way. They know how to execute a rundown. They know how to put a bunt down. They know how to steal a base. They know how to, execute, just things that high school, player, they would expect their high school boys to be able to do. And they teach that at a young age, 11, 12, 13 years old.
Yeah. Absolutely. I feel like groups like that have a brand of baseball that they can rely on.
Yeah.
And I mean, postseason baseball, and it's war. Right?
They might not be bigger and stronger.
You're not going to have it every day, and you're going up against a good quality team every day. So like having something that collectively as a group they're able to fall back on those days where they don't necessarily have their A game, it can be the difference between a 1-run win loss in a district championship game. It makes a big difference.
That's the other side of development. I mean, there's 2 sides of it. There's the bigger, stronger, faster, hit it harder, throw it harder, side of the development that everyone's so interested in. And there's the teaching them how to play baseball, teaching them how to play the game, the ins and outs of it.
That is development. Because
Sure.
all the training, all the instruction,
Sure.
all the repetition is for that reason, isn't it?
The definition of that word changes every step you take closer to high school ball.
We try to
8 to
encompass
14
all of
every
those
year.
things and what we mean as far as development goes. a lot of people get sidetracked with, radar guns and exit velos and 60 times, which is important. We did our scout day with PBR and our guys showed great with all of those things. That just gets you in the door. You got to know how to play, right? I mean, you got to understand the game.
Yeah.
It's great if you got 95 off the bat, but if you're in the batter's box and you struck out 10 out of 12 times, it doesn't matter what your exit velo is.
Right.
It really doesn't. And I know these things sound cliche and things like that, but that's the reality. And I think that's what we've kind of, that's my thought process. And you're looking at a 10-year-old man and and I'm sure you guys have it. Everybody uses it. I think tools are fantastic. I like hit tracks. I like Rapsodo. I like all those things. But I watch a 10-year-old in a cage at practice.
You're getting me fired up.
And that's their eyes immediately go to the hit tracks. And I'm like, who cares? I mean, what are you doing? You should be worried about if you're peppering the back of the screen on a line drive. That's what I want to see. I don't care if it's a ground ball and you hit it 80 miles an hour. It doesn't matter because the shortstop's going to throw you out anyway.
Well, I think before these new rules that the NCAA passed, you had a significant number of high school athletes commit to Division I schools who had the numbers, who had the measurables, who had the physicality and the size, last no more than a couple months at that Division I or that Power 4 school and end up somewhere else. Because they had what stood out. They had what colleges wanted in terms of how hard they
physicality,
how hard they threw the ball, how fast they ran, but they could not play the game at that level. The speed of the game was too much for them. And that's what I love about the rule change is now you have fewer and fewer high school seniors graduating and going and playing at Power 4 schools because they understand I'm up against a 24, 25-year-old man as an 18-year-old if I want to get on the field. Mm-hmm. If I go to a junior college, could be a good JUCO, mid-tier power JUCO, I'm competing against an 18 to 19, maybe 20-year-old to get on the field.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing less and less kids go off to a big school and end up somewhere else now because we're getting smarter. We're understanding that as a baseball community, it's not just about who throws it the hardest, who hits it the hardest, who runs the fastest. There's so much more to it. Can you play baseball? Baseball is a skill acquisition sport. It's not football. Yeah. It's not basketball. Basketball, one guy can win a game.
It's not sheer athleticism.
It's not.
Although athleticism
it helps.
Is good to have.
Yeah, but you got to have a combination of the two.
Agreed.
And you see it. You see kids get drafted out of our area and other areas, and they last a year in professional baseball, and they're out.
Yeah.
Those were the premier athletes at the high school level.
Yeah.
They weren't the premier baseball players.
Yeah.
But those guys are going to get a chance to get drafted because of the ceiling that they have or because of what a pro organization sees in that person. Like, well, I can't teach a kid to run a 6'3". Mm-hmm. I could teach him how to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. I don't think you can teach a lot of guys how to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. I think having barrel awareness and bat-to-ball skills is something that some kids have and some kids don't. I mean, I'll let the hitting guy talk about that, but that's how I feel.
Before we get into that, we're putting our guys to sleep over there, aren't we?
Oh, they're having a blast.
He'll be all right. Cam's working on his putting stroke. Looks good.
I look at Chaz like, what? What? I was taking a nap.
Slaz had wisdom teeth pulled, so he's not sure where he
I
is.
didn't even know you were going to be there. It's good to see you.
Didn't even mention sending the Brooks to.
Oh man.
I do want to, because to me, your hand-eye coordination, and I think that gets into some genetics. Some people are just better than others with that just because it just works better in their body.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, I do agree. You can build it, you can improve it.
Yes.
You can't create it. So, I mean, I really think it is that simple when it comes
you
to
can
that.
sharpen it,
100%.
all those things.
Absolutely.
And you can, and that's the thing, you can get it to a level where you can peak at it and that's where you're going to be.
Yeah.
And it may only get you to a Division II college.
Yeah, absolutely.
And play. But there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not one
There's
bit.
different development buckets.
right?
I mean, once the low-hanging fruit is gone, you better get in the weight room. You better get in speed training class. All of that stuff, right?
Right. And I think that's where the what we're talking about here with the development process, those thought process, that thinking has to start here, because we have to start thinking about, hey, how do we get you into high school? Think about making your high school team first, because I'm gonna tell you, if you go out to Lindbergh, no offense to Principia, you're not there yet, Coach, but you go to Lindbergh, if you're not prepared, you may get
You're in
cut,
trouble.
right? I don't know if you guys cut kids or not, but
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
right?
Quite a bit.
And
And those are
Big
hard.
classes.
It's
It's the
not
worst
easy.
day of the year. I tell these guys all the time, it's the worst day of the year.
It's a terrible feeling.
I walk out of that just feeling awful. It's
I
the
know.
worst day of the year.
And I don't think parents understand that no coach wants to cut a kid in high school baseball. Right. But you only have so many spots.
Only have
Yeah,
somebody
credit to
around.
Coach Scott. We do all of our cuts for every single level face to face.
I love that.
And it's hard for me. And most of the time, I'm just sitting there for support. He's the one having the conversations, and it's still hard.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is. It
Yeah.
can't be the funnest thing to do. So I think that's, to me, are we doing those things? And I think that's the development process, thought process, that has to be that communication level between. And are you finding a club that you like the people, right?
Yeah.
Do you know the people? Have you met the people? Have you had a conversation with these guys and said, hey, what do you guys believe in? What do you think about this? What do you think about that?
I think a lot of people don't even know what a high school baseball game looks like. I mean, I'm guilty. I got so wrapped up in the little guys that when they were, 8, 9, and 10, that I didn't watch a whole lot of high school baseball those years. It's gotten really, really, really good. Like, it's gotten really good. And I think,
Yeah, buddy.
you go watch them play and go, does my kid belong on this field? And I think a lot of people go, we got a lot of work to do to get my 12, 13-year-old from where they are now to be ready to go, play for them. And it's getting more competitive. These kids are getting better. The ones that are taking advantage of getting, a club team and training. There's a lot of good baseball dudes in St. Louis. There's a lot of good clubs. There's a lot of good people that do a lot of good things training-wise. You can't sign up for your local. I mean, we live in Webster Groves League, and expect to walk on the field and be able to play there, as any year, really. And I think parents educating themselves on what that looks like. We do the same thing with the high school kids. Like, here's your list: Florida State, Oklahoma. Cool. Like, go watch Fompon and Wash U and Webster, the Division IIIs, and tell me if you can play there. And look at that. And I think that opens a lot of kids' eyes.
Go to Missouri Baptist and watch
man.
Missouri Baptist play.
Yeah,
One year they had more draft picks than Mizzou.
for sure. Well,
That's in AIA, and people don't realize
how good Missouri Baptist is.
exactly.
They're loaded, and they've been a powerhouse for, how long?
Yeah, I
Draft dudes
advise
after
kids
draft dudes.
to not go to MOBAP out of high school because I know they're not going to play.
Hey, there you go.
true.
I'm serious.
Because the way they recruit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not.
Yeah, it's not against
true.
MOBAP at all. It's like you don't have a
If
chance.
you can get there in your junior year and
Right.
you've got your development product, you probably got a shot.
Right.
Because I know right now they're 8, 9 deep with 90 plus arms.
Oh yeah.
You can't cram for it. It's not like cramming for a test.
No.
You can't cram for baseball development.
No.
You just can't. And I feel like a lot of kids, a lot of families, it's like, oh, cool. It's, let's go watch the high school game, after school. And it's like that deer in the headlights, like, oh man, like there's no way my kid's even remotely close to like gonna be able to do this. And I mean, they don't know if they don't know.
No, best
Right.
high school or one of the best baseball games, period, I've ever seen was at the state championship. It was a high school game. It was Liberty North and Francis Howell in a semifinal that went 10 innings. I think Liberty North won 4-3. And oh my gosh, it was just unbelievable. Sissel was just, I think it was sophomore year.
Yeah.
He's diving, making. Leo, his freshman, it would think it was Leo's freshman. He hosed somebody from right field on a sac fly, just boom. I mean, and you got Trey Schneider at shortstop there. You got Bo Jonas behind the plate there. You got, I think Tate McGuire was still on that team at Arkansas. He's at, I mean, this is what you're dealing. It's one of the best baseball games I've ever seen. It was just fantastic all the way around.
Like Todd said, you can't cram for it. I can't tell you, every year, pitching guys and hitting guys will get an email in February.
Yeah.
Hey, my son has tryouts in the next
Season's
weeks.
coming up.
Hey, we really got to get him in to
Like
get
the
him
week
fresh.
before dead week.
Yeah, hey, we got to get him in. Can you get him in for a couple one-on-one sessions? It's like, have you done nothing since October? And you're just going to decide you're going to baseball starting in February?
Yeah, I just thought I'd pick this up, you know.
But we see it, and
It's true.
and that's not a shot at those parents, but it's an education opportunity.
Yeah.
It's like this is a skilled sport. Where
Yeah, the kids that you're trying out against have been doing it all year round for 10 years.
Right.
And now we're going to get 2 heading lessons with Tyler, and we're good to go, baby.
and if we struggle, it's his fault.
I got to ask you guys this. Let's transition. I want to ask these guys a couple questions. Then I want to come back and I want to talk about dad coaches with you guys to finish
yeah.
up.
We're all three dads.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
I'm a dad coach.
Right on, bro. So let's jump these guys in here. Come on.
Oh, let's go.
That's fine. That's good.
It's always the young guy. The young guy's got to mess everything up. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Get used to it. Yeah.
We've been talking about development and training. All you guys are instructors. You coach as well.
Yeah.
As you're, dealing with 8U to 14U, do you guys all deal with the younger age levels?
Oh yeah.
So at what part, talk to me what you think. We'll start here with you, Connor.
Oh boy.
What is development? What do you think about development when you're talking about a 9, 10, 11-year-old?
Honestly, I think it's about getting them to move the right way. Velocity is great, but getting them to move the right way, getting the body to move the right way, getting them to throw strikes at the 8, 9, 10U level. I think that's honestly one of the bigger things that you kind of want to work on. Like if a kid can't move and use his lower half or his upper half the right way, like he's going to end up getting hurt down the stretch and not being able to throw the right way.
I think one of the things that, to me, when you said that, and I think, Chad, you do a lot of pitching, is correct?
Yeah.
One of the things that floored me, honestly, it did, we were having a conversation with one of the pitching instructors from Mac and Sites, is Gonzo Gonzalez.
Sure.
Gonzo said, we were talking, chatting, and I'm like, well, this is good, good. And he says, well, your tendons and ligaments don't fully mature until you're 26. And I stopped him and I was like, wait, what?
Oh yeah.
And he says, oh yeah, so you're aware of this?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's parts of the body that don't develop until kids are, 7 years old as it is. Like kids don't have kneecaps until they're 7, so we can't, So we have to take that into account as kids are developing and coming through. Kids are gonna have growth spurts. Kids are gonna have things happening to their body all the way through, and our training regimen needs to take that into account as we're coming through there, right? So during our process, if a kid's getting a little sore, we assess that through everything that we do here, to make sure, if it is a little joint inflammation, we can assess that, take it back, and then let that process come through, their body develops into it, we can continue on from there.
How many parents know that?
The ones I've explained it to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I had no clue. And you know what? I wasn't Googling it either.
Well, and we see that a lot, like Little League elbow, right?
Right.
Really what that is the joint growing into where it needs to be, right? The body is developing, the muscles are applying more force than the joint can take, and that joint needs to grow into account there, right? So usually it's 2 weeks off, we take a couple weeks, we have the kid do our recovery program, we bring him back slowly, and it's all good to go.
How many times, guys, do you see, and I understand velocity is always going to be king, Major League Baseball especially, once you get to collegiate, but 8 through 12U, should we be focusing on velocity? Oh, that's a tough question, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very loaded question.
I think velocity is a byproduct of what we are trying to do. I think if we can get the body moving correctly, we can get the kids stronger, and we can get their body developing in the correct pattern, then velocity becomes a byproduct of that.
Okay, that's fair. And some kids, their body can only do it due to a certain so much, right?
Right. You know, we see that biologically all the time. Yeah, I mean, like we can train you to a certain point, but you know, even in the youth side, like we can train a kid to throw. You know, we can train them to be efficient. However, you know, at 13, 14 years old, when that starts transitioning over into high school baseball and, you know, the body starts developing a little bit more, the weight room becomes a huge part of it. I can make a kid's mechanics as clean as it is, but unless he's got the power to put behind it, you know, there's nothing else there, right?
Are we putting enough emphasis on pitching rather than the velocity early on?
I think these guys do a great job of it, for sure.
You're a hitting guy.
I'm a hitting guy.
So we'll come back to you.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
Cameron's like, don't ask me that question, man."
I do a lot with our 16U team and do a lot with our pitchers. You know, I'm calling pitches, I'm watching their bullpens. You know, from a mechanical side, obviously these guys are going to be a lot more mechanically sound than I am. You know, for me, you know, like you talked about, you know, we prioritize throwing strikes, right? You know, we prioritize making adjustments. Now for me, you know, it's going to be more of, hey, let's change our sights a little bit. Hey, where are we missing? Have them think through it a little bit more throughout their bullpen, rather than these guys telling them, okay, is the arm late? Hey, you know, is the chest sitting back? Am I spinning off? Stuff like that. You know, so, you know, for sure, like, I think even at the high school level with my guys, at least early on in January, we do prioritize strikes. You know, and as bullpens go on, as we get stronger, the arms get stronger, the arms get more healthy. We can start to ramp up intent. We can start to be more picky about, okay, I missed by 6 inches. We can start to kind of dwindle that down and say, okay, I need to, you know, lower that and miss by 4 inches, stuff like that. So, you know, with those guys, especially my guys that are throwing pens in here that I see throw, that's kind of how we go about it in the off season, and these guys take care of the rest when it comes to the mechanical side, the velocity side, and stuff like that.
I have to say this. I always qualify it because I always say, you know, I understand velocity is always going to be, but in high school and things and what we're talking about, because we're talking development to get there, but how is it that that same 16U team can't hit the lefty throwing 70 miles an hour in a whole game and he throws a 3-hit shutout? And you're like, why can't we just hit it the other way, guys? And that's what I'm talking about. I think some of the emphasis on these things gets a little carried away.
Yeah, rather than like pitchability, right?
Right.
You know, so like you're talking about the crafty lefty, you call it that, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, the ability to get people off the fastball, the ability to throw breaking balls for strikes and get everything working down the mound that day, right? You know, you also can see guys in that space where, you know, they may throw 82, but their fastball spins at 2,700 RPM, so it doesn't have the same trajectory as a normal fastball.
But that's not a 9-year-old.
No, so we see it not necessarily at that high of a level, but I mean, guys are pitching at 50 feet, right? So, you know, if you see a guy, say you're Joseph at 12U, right? So Joseph's throwing 68 from 50 feet right now. His fastball is spinning abnormally fast from 50 feet. So it doesn't have the same trajectory coming down as that there, right? So like even taking that into account at this young age and learning how to pitch with what you've got, like Joseph's always going to spin the ball fast. That's just how his arm works, right? So him understanding that at a young age he needs to throw the ball up in the zone and let guys miss rather than trying to get the old school mentality of throw the ball low and let it happen, he's going to get hit more than he is going to get swings and misses.
Oh, interesting. I always like that thought process, you know, with the kids at 9, you know, oh man, my 10-year-old's got a great curveball. No, it isn't. It's just gravity. It's gravity. I'm sorry.
Well, and that's the, you know, spin rate coming into that too, right? You know, like you can see the spin and come down for the gravity ball, right? The kid that spins it well is the one that comes in and snaps down, you know? So, you know, we do see it at the younger age. They're the kids that have learned how to spin the baseball and get through it there and have, you know, the plus stuff, I guess if you want to call it, you know, a youth level there.
Yeah.
Do you think, you know, when you're talking, how do you deal with the relationships with parents and getting kids to understand and having parents understand what is best for that player, and how do you set the focus for the individual as they're growing and getting, you know, where are they at physically? Where are they at to where, you know, hey, we don't want to overthrow, you know, and cause problems, but let's keep letting this
Right.
work.
I mean, do you want to take that
Go
one?
ahead.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
I've answered about 4 in a row here, so you know.
yeah, honestly. So one of the bigger things that I like to talk to parents about is pitch counts, right? Like pitch counts has always been a huge thing, right? Like in tournaments nowadays, like some tournaments, like your kid cannot throw more than 60 pitches in a whole weekend. And it's like, okay, I understand that, but Johnny might be throwing 40 pitches and be really, really tired. But according to this, he can still throw another 20 pitches. But if I throw him another 20 pitches, he might get hurt, right? And his dad might be like, oh, he's good, he's fine. But then, I put him back
What are you
out there.
taking him out for, coach?
Right, exactly. And then I'm putting him in there the 5th inning and he gets hurt. Or I could have saved his arm, had him do a recovery session, and now he's pitching next week and the week after and the week after and the week after. So having those conversations with parents and having the conversations early with parents that recovery is almost the most important part.
Do you coach young kids like that?
So I have a 12U team.
Do you ever think of having 12 kids on the team?
I have 12
You have 12 kids.
Yeah.
So do you rotate the kids if they've pitched? Do you sit them
yeah.
on the bench?
Yeah. So
Really?
Yeah. So if a kid, yeah. Yeah. So prime example, Jace. He is my starting shortstop. He's also probably top 2, top 1 pitcher on my team.
Mm-hmm. Sure. That makes sense.
Right.
Right.
If he's throwing, let's say Sunday first game, he throws the whole entire game, he's not going to start that second game. He's going to have that. He's going to have time to relax, recover. Because I'm not going to have a kid go out there throw. For him, he's really healthy. He's going to throw 65, 70 pitches, right? And then come back in and then have.
Then you got to make all these plays at shortstop.
Right. Throwing not in a controlled way. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're on a back foot and you have to use more effort out of your arms. Sometimes you're doing other things. Like, I hate it. I hate seeing guys and coaches have their starting pitcher come out of the game and then they're like, okay, center fielder, come in, and then he goes right back out to center field. Doesn't even get to sit down, relax, even get a drink of water. Like, that just drives me insane.
Yeah. I understand. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I've talked about this for quite some time about, adding kids. Remember, it's like, well, am I going to get the playing time? It's not about, you get playing time.
Oh, yeah.
But understand that, coach, it gives you an opportunity to teach these kids what health is about, teach them what, hey, this is a team. Mm-hmm. We need 1 through 12.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you're on this team, you're here for a reason and you have purpose. It may be a role,
mm-hmm.
but understand we need you in that role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And especially at 12, because that's kind of where it starts, moving to 13, 14, and into high school. And I love that. So I keep doing that. That's good stuff. I know that's probably a hard conversation for some people.
It's hard to have for some parents for sure, because they just, every single parent wants to watch their kid play baseball all 9 innings, and they want to watch them do everything and get all the strikeouts and hit 4 tanks and, be the star player. But that's just not going to happen every single game, and it's not going to happen, maybe once in their entire life, right? Yeah. Like, getting them to put some perspective into where they're at, like, they're 12, even if, we're so good that we get ranked, it's going to reset once we get to high school. Like, it doesn't matter.
What? Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Youth team rankings.
Yeah.
Mr. Miller, we're not going to leave you out of the conversation, bro. Hitting wise, talk to us about, you've got a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old. How do you set that player in motion as far as getting them to understand what hitting is about?
Well, I think people would actually be surprised, when we get really a fresh 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, whatever, they actually do a lot of good things right, from, whether it's hitting outside, in their backyard, whatever, they do a lot of things right when they kind of first come in here. And for us, what we try to do is really not make them robots. Yes, we have a certain philosophy on how we want the body, how we want the swing to work, but I think, you would be surprised on how well they actually move early. It's when, coaches, some of these other guys, they try to make them into robots and set their hands, set, their legs, set their stuff in specific ways. But, for us, it's like, we kind of talked about earlier, it's, how often can we hit the back net? How often can we get the barrel behind the baseball, work through the baseball, and be as consistent as we can with contact through the middle of the field? So
How many 9-year-olds do you see where the bat swings down?
quite a few.
Right?
Quite a few. So for us, that's when we kind of have to work on, how the body's moving the barrel. How, is it the body moving them, or is it the arms, is it the hands moving the barrel? So a lot of times when you see the barrel moving the kid, a lot of it's, they're using the weaker parts of their body to get the barrel in the zone. So that's the adjustment we have to make. So that's kind of what we do with those guys.
It's a good thing. I'm sorry, bud.
No, you're good.
It's a good thing we have loaded bats nowadays, right?
For sure.
Oh, we don't have loaded bats.
No, we don't have loaded bats. Todd's got about 30 of them in his office over there, but
Spray painting the beast
I
with
love it.
BB core.
Hey, you know what? And I'm okay with that, because otherwise, when I was a kid, we all swung a wood bat
for sure.
and you didn't hit it very far.
We're seeing more
Just
kids.
telling
Yeah, we're seeing more kids come in here with wood at the younger levels. At maybe not the 12, 11, 12, age group, but the 13, 14, they're starting to kind of bring in wood and use that a little bit more in the tee work, the front toss, the BP. Not quite on the machine yet, which is probably a good idea, but you're starting to see some of the younger guys in the middle school age level start to bring in some more wood, try to get a little bit more feedback with that. So they're starting to kind of learn a little bit with that. And then when they go to the game, it just makes those loaded bats that much easier to swing.
When we are talking about development training, the training process, how many kids do you get at like 8 years old and you're able to, work with them till they get into high school?
I mean, there's a few. Most of them are part of our organization here, and they stick around for a while. But we've had the fortunate, pleasure of working with a few of these guys for quite a few years now. And, I've been here for 6 years now. So I think I've had at least one wave of guys come through from my start now, which is pretty cool. But, it's nice to be able to work with them from the beginning, because I don't want to call it bad tendencies, learned at other places, because not everything I do is perfect, obviously. Right.
Sure.
But,
Obviously, it's perfect.
But, having the ability to take them from a young age and develop them, at least what, we believe the proper way is right now, building them up through, letting their body develop and, mentally develop with us in our way here. Like we're seeing a lot more transition into that college sphere, kind of how Coach Day was talking earlier, not necessarily in the big sphere of things with how, colleges are shaping up now, but we're pushing more guys through into that JUCO space to then develop another couple of years, and then go into that big powerhouse school.
Is it easier when you get that kid, say at 9, and you start to walk them through and whatnot, to if you're staying with them, to focus on, hey, what high school are you going to? Hey, I know let's work here, keeping that process moving in that direction so they have an understanding of what they're going to face when they get to high school?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a great resource having Lindbergh and former Webster, now Principia coaches here, right? We can always pick their brain, like, hey, what are you guys seeing? What do we need to be working on with all of these youth guys that are coming up? Like,
learn how to bunt.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Learn how to throw strikes. Learn how to,
Small ball wins.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And PFPs. Like all the little things that a lot of these parents and a lot of people don't think about. Like we have to take into account, and we have to do all of those things, or else, at the end of the day, they're going to get mad at us for their kid not making, the high school team.
You ever had that?
What?
Parent get mad for
Absolutely.
the high school team?
Absolutely. Not mad, I would say more disappointed. Some parents approach it the right way and say, hey, he would say, hey, I didn't make the high school team. We still want to be able to come in and work and get better and develop and do this again next year. He loves baseball. He wants to keep doing it, and we're here for it. I wouldn't necessarily say mad is the right word. I would say you can kind of hear the disappointment in their voice when their kid doesn't make it. But, absolutely, when, if kid doesn't make his high school team, that next week after, they're back in here working and doing stuff. So that's kind of cool to see too as well.
100%.
That's cool. Well, guys, I'm going to bring the crew back in here and finish up. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Appreciate you
absolutely.
taking the time here.
Appreciate you.
Back in action.
I got the crew with me back here. We're going to finish off this this conversation. Dad coaches are a topic, and I hear you people say, "Oh, daddy ball," and stuff like that. And it's made famous by the guy on YouTube.
You met him?
Did you really?
Yeah, we were down in Florida for what's that tournament called down there?
You were
New Year's Day, whatever. And I was still in batting practice in the cage next to him. We were kind of talking. Our teams were in the same
Domingo Ayala, right?
Mark Paul.
bracket. Mark Paul.
Domingo Ayala is
the daddy ball guy. Mark
Yeah.
Paul, the daddy ball guy.
Is that his name?
Domingo Ayala pops his chain after he hits bombs.
Yeah, but he was always talking about, the
We got a
coach-
picture of him.
coaches keep- right?
We actually met him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you were saying.
No,
Mark
he's a cool dude. I had fun throwing batting practice next to him and kind of talking,
Yeah.
Baseball and stuff. If he would have won, I'm trying to think how this went. We were both in semifinals, and if we both lost, but if we both would have won, we'd end up, we'd have ended up playing each other. It's like here we are trying to play, in New Year's Eve, game or whatever. But he was a pretty funny dude.
It's interesting to me that I don't know where this started or why it started. Well, no, I know where it started, but I don't know why. Because I'm sure you guys have teams with coaches that are dads of players, correct?
Yes.
Why? Why, man? You shouldn't do that. It's horrible. That's the worst thing ever in the world. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say it. But honestly, now, dad coaches to me are what we have to have. And I would like to have your thoughts on, what you think, how you guys set yourselves in motion. How do you help these guys coach these teams?
I mean, I've said this before, I believe on a couple different of these shows. I think dad coaches are pivotal at the youth level. Biggest reason is they know the kids. Mm-hmm. They know their son, they know his friends, they know they most of them have coached that team at some point before they join the club.
Sure.
And they're going to put the time and effort in that's needed to take care of those kids. Whereas a paid coach who may be a college kid or someone fresh out of college, or even myself, for example, I might not have the time and the resources to devote to a team that my kid isn't on.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, if I'm the dad of my son and he's on a team, like we're going to practice together. Right? I'm making sure he gets there on time.
It's the extra stuff.
It is the extra stuff.
Like, hey, you sign your kid up, you're paying for 2 practices a week, and then when those practices are over, we're done. It doesn't mean that we don't need more work on something before the weekend starts. A lot of times the dad coaches, get those things accomplished.
Without question, we've had some awesome dad coaches. We have some, and we've had some awesome dad coaches at all age groups. Mm-hmm. And we used to be strictly no dad coaches after 14U. It was something that back then was very popular to do.
Right.
It was a good selling point, right? Our top 17U coach, our top 17U team this year is coached by 2 dads of players on the team. That's an outstanding team. All those kids are great baseball players. Those 2 coaches, one coached collegiately for 20 plus years. One's been coaching high school ball forever. They both played college ball. They're more than qualified to coach that team, whether they have kids on it or not. They don't show favoritism. If anything, they're harder on their kids.
That's usually the truth, right?
Yeah, I mean, ask him how he treats his son.
We won't.
Oh, you can. I'm definitely hardest on them. But I mean, the spotlight's on them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, Todd's got his kid doing this and doing that. Whatever. Like, you got to treat you got to treat them fair. You got to treat them fair. You got to play them where they belong. And it's hard to separate. The group that I have at 14, we've been playing together for so long. A lot of the kids, I'm trying to think how many of them live within a mile of our house, and it's tough between, hey, we're coming over after school and having a sleepover, to, all right, dudes, like, it's practice time now. Like, I'm no longer like, Luke's dad that's playing video games with you. Like, we got to get some stuff done today. Like, let's go.
Put it down, put it away.
No doubt. So
Wait a minute, I got to be first.
It has its challenges too, but
Yeah.
I think the benefits far outweigh some of the negative things. It's not like we have parent coaches that, I'll do it. They have a baseball background. They're invested in it. They're in here, working with us. They're in off-season training. We're here.
Yeah.
So we got practice plans. We're coming up with what we're doing that day. They're really there to kind of, learn and assist. While we're running, the drills, sometimes things get lost in translation with the little kids, and, hey, little Bobby, stay back or whatever. They don't know what that means, or
The amount of times that I've told a kid something and watch the kid leave the cage, and that coach grab him and, essentially translate what I said to
For sure.
what is going to make sense for that kid.
Yeah.
And I think there's an element of that they're around him more.
I like that point, because we language,
Huge.
we all speak the English dialect, but
we don't all speak 7 and 8 year olds.
but you're talking about the language of baseball, and you may look at something a bit different and use different language to describe what you want. And I think that's the thing from the club perspective. If kids are working with you, that coach, and that's good, that he can do that. They have to understand that.
Yep.
And I think that's where the connection between, sometimes just because you played college baseball or you were a really good high school baseball player and you've got that background, doesn't mean you can teach the game or coach the game. It's just the truth of it.
Yeah.
And so there's sometimes, you might have a guy that's a teacher who didn't play baseball, but maybe played high school sports and whatnot, but is able to really communicate well to the kids. That's the person you want. You want the communicator, in my opinion, even because they'll take the time, and especially in the investment, to work with the kids and communicate. Just like you said, he's pulling them aside and going, okay, this is what Coach Michelle meant. I want you to understand.
It's not
this.
easy.
It isn't easy, because you're used to, you got high level kids.
Right.
And sometimes you forget you're talking to a 9-year-old, and the language will come out, oh shoot. Well,
That's taking
okay.
some
Oh, it's like spar with double play with double play depth. Double play depth. Dave and I are working with this team, and it's funny because it was a good group. There were some really good players in that team, and we're talking about double play. Come on, guys, go double play depth. Go double play depth. And none of them have a clue what we're talking about. And once we figure out they have no clue what we're talking about, we bring them all in, And the catcher, Braden Spar, he played at SEMO. Yeah. He played at SEMO. He's like, come on, guys, sudden double play death is when you need a double play, or you lose the game, or something just totally ridiculous. Right? And it's like, we've been talking about this in practice after practice. Now, granted, at the time, they're 9, right? Yeah. Like, over and over and over and over again. And it's like, how many hours have we spent talking about this, and we think they understand what we're saying, but they don't.
Because of one word.
No doubt.
Because of one word.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. And I think that's where, and I think it is the responsibility of guys like yourselves with the club, is getting, because that's where I think sometimes we maybe get a little disconnect. And I don't mean it bad toward anybody. I'm just talking from my own experiences, things we've seen. I've watched a lot of youth baseball over time, and I listened to guys out at the ballpark who are coming with these teams and whatnot. And where is the connection to, because I know then the people that are running the clubs, and these are people that understand the game, smart people. And I think we're starting to go down that road. I'm hearing it a lot more, but that connection between you and that dad coach has to be real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And they have to be able to trust, and are they going to give the same language? And I think once you develop that process, I think it makes it easier for them to help the kids on a daily basis. They know what they're looking for.
They have a more calming role.
right?
I mean, we're all competitive, right? And you know, I mean, Brownlee, my college coach, Jim Brownlee, you know, when I was done playing, said to me, he's like, if you would just listen to what I said instead of how I was saying it, if you listened to what I said instead of how I was saying it, you know, you'd have been a lot better off. But like, he was really competitive, I was competitive, and you know, he's raising his voice and yelling at me, and he's probably not even mad at me. I'm not even playing that game. Probably I pitched the game before, you know, whatever, and it's like, what, you know, what's he mad at me for? But I think sometimes these kids get intimidated, and I mean, I've been fortunate. I mean, Pete's helped me for a long time. I've been really fortunate having, and Pete played college baseball. It's part of my dynamic. Pete is his son's Max, and Max and my oldest Luke are good buddies and have gone to school together forever. And, you know, Pete's always kind of the calming, you know, point in the dugout, and maybe takes a little bit more time to explain some things when needed. But it's a big role. It really is. It's an important one.
Last thing here, guys. We touched on it a little bit earlier. We kind of mentioned it, but back in the day, we used to have select teams, you know, and people were playing in associations. St. Peter's Athletic Association, the O'Fallon Association. Down here was Kirkwood. Kirkwood had a big association.
Absolutely.
Afton had a big one.
Jefferson Barracks.
Right?
Yeah.
We had all the county.
Tiny Miney.
Creve Coeur is not Creve Coeur Athletic.
Yeah.
Manchester is Creve Coeur is no longer. Manchester's no longer.
Baldwin.
Valley Park was in it. Baldwin's there. Ellisville Pond. Who else was in that little the
Chesterfield
I
didn't
don't
come
remember
along.
the-
I think you hit them all.
Right?
I don't even remember what they county. It was County Athletic Association.
Yeah.
Is what it was. Yeah.
And I remember all that, and that transition, you know, and you had select teams, but a lot of those kids were playing, what was it, National Blue or whatever
Right.
that was. It was the top level. And they'd go maybe play in a tournament here or there
Right.
because they were select, and it was because they were that good.
Oh, the name select meant they were selected
Yes.
from a tryout or from, seriously,
Yeah.
right? And obviously, and we've talked about this, baseball clubs, sports clubs in general, we have bills to pay,
Right.
right? We have to make money. We have to make money to survive. We have to make money to continue to provide a quality product,
Right.
right? We have to have players. We have to have teams. If we want to have nice facilities like this, if we want to have nice stuff, if we want to have good staff. It's impossible to have 6 teams in your club and do all that.
Right.
You need volume, right? Now, it's on us to provide quality to those other teams. Maybe we have a top team at every age, and then maybe we have a second team or a third team. And what you typically see from lots of clubs is the top team usually gets more of the attention,
True.
right? But it's on us as clubs to make sure that we're showing that same attention to the second team and the third team if we're going to have a second and a third team, right?
Right.
But we are way less selective as clubs in general than we might have been 10 years ago.
I agree with that.
Tournaments cost more money. Tournament gate fees, hotels. I mean, everything's more expensive, not just for the parent, but for the club, for that team. It's expensive to be a club baseball team.
And to your point, you know, we have AA, AAA major, whatever, you know.
Tournaments cost the same.
AA baseball is where the majority of kids are coming up. You
Absolutely.
have a very few, in my opinion.
That's the
there's
select
maybe-
realm.
Yeah,
It's select, without a doubt.
There's maybe one really true AAA team in an age group around when you really think about it. You start looking.
Sure.
You may have one that's AAA, but they have some kids at the bottom of the roster that could probably really dominate, maybe really well at a AA team. And so you start, and that's where high school in a similar fashion with that kind of thing. But we've moved this thought process to travel ball. Well, where are you traveling to? And my question always comes to, why? Why are you going there? For what purpose? What purpose does it serve? And I don't think we're asking that question enough when we're talking about our schedule. Why are you traveling there?
Starts with the high school kids. It's exposure. You know, I mean,
But I understand that with a high school kid.
Sure.
I'm talking about
And so,
9, 10,
to
11,
me,
12.
it trickles down a little bit. you know, there's
St. Louis teams in a different state.
well, yeah. I mean,
Right.
there's certain tournaments that the high school kids have to do to get recruited.
Fair. But
If you're
again,
not on one of the teams and one of the clubs that goes to one of those tournaments, in my opinion, you're wasting your money. If you're not going to get recruited the same as someone that's not.
they're not going to recruit a 9-year-old.
No, but I'm saying for the 9-year-olds.
That's all I'm talking about. I get high school.
Sure, but what I'm saying is it trickles down. So with the youth kids,
Should it?
a little bit, yeah. I think it's great when we all go to Grand Park together, and you know, like Dave said earlier, the 10-year-olds get to hang out with the 12-year-olds, the 12-years get to hang out with the 14-year-olds, and
that's
so on and so forth.
There's some reason to that,
Sure.
and why you do that.
Sure,
That was my
100%.
question: is if you're traveling, why?
Yeah,
For what reason?
in my opinion, at the youth level,
Yeah.
if you're traveling, it's either A, because mom and dad want a cool vacation, okay, which is totally fine.
Yeah, go
Which
to
is
Branson.
okay.
It's cool, right?
Branson's awesome. I went there for Christmas Eve. It was great. I mean, some teams want a beach trip. They want to go to the beach.
Right.
Cool. Sounds good. Great.
An experience.
Absolutely. An experience. Maybe it's an early tournament.
Cooperstown.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe it's an early tournament to get the kids together as a team and get them to bond early in the season. I see a lot of teams use that
fair
method.
point, yeah.
Right? Maybe it is because your team has played the majority of the teams in your area and the competition isn't quite what you want for your boys. So maybe you seek it elsewhere. There's no guarantee that a team from Oklahoma is better than a team from Missouri. There's no guarantee that a team down in Florida is better than a team from Missouri.
Right.
I think we in the Midwest have this belief that if we go south, we're guaranteed to find better competition. And that's not always the case.
Right.
I played in the WWBA. I played in the PBR National Championship. Have we played some elite, really good teams that we wouldn't see here? Without a doubt, yes. But we've also won 15-0 against teams that have no business being on the field with us. So the belief that traveling south guarantees better competition or traveling here guarantees better competition, that's skewed.
That's myth.
That is
I
a
get
myth.
better weather in March and April.
But
Yeah.
as a coach, as a club director, educate yourself on who the better teams are outside of your area. And if you see a tournament in Iowa or you see a tournament in Indy or Georgia or wherever, and you see the teams that you know are legit, that you have a chance to play, that you would not get to play in Missouri. Because if I'm the Georgia Jackets or I'm East Cobb, I am not coming to St. Louis to play baseball. If I want to play those teams, I have to go find them. They're not coming to me.
I want to finish with this, and Tyler, I'll pose this to you as something that was posed to me. What about if you're you're a 12U team or 11U team, somewhere in there, and as you said, it's not challenging our kids. Can't we just bump up? Can't we go to 12U? You start playing 12U AA.
Yeah.
And see what happens with that. And I wonder, if we maybe start thinking like that on that level first and foremost.
In my experience, and we've done it, but in my experience, when you do that, when you take a really, really good 12-year-old team and you bump them up to play against the older guys, which I guess
I think 13. That might be a little different, right?
Faces change, yeah.
But I mean,
We did it last year.
How many times do you see that group that bumps up still be really good there too?
Well, it happened last summer. I mean, we won the Vianney 13U AA tournament as 12-year-olds. Now, was the first game a little challenging because the distances were a little bigger? Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
But by game 5, the championship game, I think we ruled
They're
the
just
team in the
playing baseball at
championship.
that point, right?
Yeah.
You're just
I
bumping
believe
kids up. It's not necessarily a better brand of baseball always, but it's definitely a more physical brand of baseball when you get older. Which there's the challenge. But give me the guys that play better baseball than the guys who are a little bit more physical. I think that's what you need to find.
Fair.
That's
point.
I wholeheartedly believe, because I've done it, I've seen it. If you have a team that is dominating competition in your area, which there are some teams in our area that are doing that.
Yeah.
Instead of going up, go try to find the best teams you can play. Don't just blindly pick a tournament in the South, but go find a tournament. Go try to get an invite to the PG World Series down in Florida where the top 50 teams are. Like go try to do that. We did that at 14 and 15U, and we played way better teams than we would ever seen here. And that's nothing against the teams here, but they just have more down there. Like the resources down there, the ability to get put on put on a team in Florida where every kid on the team is a top whatever player in their area is so much easier than to do it here. Like there's just so few teams where every single kid is the elite player in his area, right? But when you are playing Midwest baseball competition, and it's not enough for your boys, and there are very few teams that are like that.
Yeah, those, I mean,
There
they're
are
outliers.
very few. There
is
are
an outlier.
outlier teams.
Agree.
There are outlier teams. It was the U.S.
But I
Nationals.
understand that point.
Without question. But at my age group, it was the U.S. Nationals. Jack Zimmerman's group traveled all over the country. They needed that type of competition. He had like 10 dudes go to Division I.
Right.
Clearly, it worked for them.
Right.
Right? My guys, we went all over the country. Like every one of my guys is playing college baseball next year. Like it worked for us.
Right.
Could we have gone about it a different way? Sure. But I don't think mom and dad or my kids,
Yeah.
I really don't think they would have been satisfied.
And that's my point to this. You know, you're talking about purpose, and I always look at, you know, when you're, because I understand high school, and you get 14 and 15 especially. The 9 to 12, that always is really purposeful.
Sure.
I think it's fine, you know, you do that, and you got to find places where it means something, because if you're looking for teams, but I still think you can find a lot of good quality teams if you go to, you know, Kansas City.
Absolutely.
You can go down to Arkansas. You can go down. You don't have to drive
Absolutely.
to Atlanta as a 12-year-old. If you want to, like you said, if
By all
hey,
means.
you know what? If we want to go to the beach and we want to go to Panama City, play in a big tournament, and mom, dad get to sit on the beach, I'm cool with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's fun. And,
Yeah,
Some of
and
the
like you
families
said,
want it.
You know, it's a bonding piece, you know, for the kids. I think those are real things.
Yes.
I think there are purposeful things for traveling.
I'm 36 years old. Me and my buddies that I played baseball with when we were 12 still talk about some of our trips to South Haven. And just, I mean, like, it sticks with them. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I love that piece for them.
I think that's why the moniker travel ball has become more and more popular. Even though the travels to Memphis or Kansas City or Iowa or even Ozark, we're in the car, we're traveling with our friends,
Yeah.
with our families. And it's, I love it. My wife hates it.
Oh, God.
Hates it. But I love the summers. I love getting in the car and going to Indy and hanging out with all the coaches and all the teams. And it's so much more fun than playing in a tournament here in town.
There's a business side of it too.
Yeah.
There's the amount of kids, you know, in our program that get, you know, Twitter messages or X messages or whatever. Hey, come to, you know, PBR Natty with us. Come to the Super 17. And for them to go, we're already going. Like
He's right, though.
We don't need to go with whoever, you know, Canes. Like our team's going.
Right.
Like I can play with my dudes, my buddies, and all that stuff. We don't want to miss out on that either, you know. But to do it every weekend at 9, 10, 11, 12,
Yeah.
So there's different reasons.
I'll give you a good story, a good Memphis story. Coached a 14U team, and we drove down to, we were going to play at Germantown. I forget what tournament.
Oh yeah, Germantown Giants.
Right. We're going to play in that tournament down there. So we get down there, we get checked in the hotel. We're supposed to play that evening. Well, it was postponed due to weather, inclement weather. So we all decide we go to the Chick-fil-A, we get some lunch. We head to the movie theater. I think we went and saw Clash of the Titans or something like that. And we come out. We didn't even know. We come out and a tornado had come through.
Oh gosh.
Tore down. We drove over to the ballpark. It's just a mess. Drove back to the hotel. They said, don't worry, Mr. French. It's all taken care of. No charge, whatnot. Thank you. And we drove home. We drove home, drove down to Memphis that morning, went to lunch and had a movie, and drove home. Clash of the Titans.
Twister.
You know, so there's what, and that happens,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely it does. You didn't play any baseball and you're still telling the story about your baseball.
There you go. There you go.
And that was one of those trips where, you know, it was a 14U team, as the second 14U team I had, and that was a team that we started with nothing. Well, I shouldn't say nothing, but a lot of kids that didn't know each other. First year playing together, we put this team together. Some good quality kids. We had some talent, and we're going through that. That was going to be one that was it was later in the season. We were really pushing and whatnot, and we were headed to the USSSA World Series pretty close after that. The kids did that. We ended up going 6-0 and winning the World Series.
Where was that? Where was the World Series at?
It was in St. Louis.
Okay.
It was out. We were playing that out at what do you call it? Remember Bell Fountain?
Bell Fountain Neighbors. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's back in
Love
the day.
that spot.
And I had a kid to throw a no-hitter in game 1, and we played really good baseball and ruled a team from Michigan to win the tournament.
That's awesome.
And so, but that team, I think through the season though, we were maybe 3 games over 500. But
It's great.
it was building towards something. And I think that's the things that, that was the only tournament actually we were traveling that far that year to play. And we ended up, it was a tornado and we just drove home.
Yeah.
And so,
They've done that.
because there was a lot of good competition in St. Louis.
There is a lot at all age groups. There's really good competition here. Teams from other Midwest areas will come to St. Louis for some tournaments now. You can go to Kansas City and find some of the best competition you could ever find.
Yeah.
Kansas City's got insane talent there.
The clubs all need each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need good local teams to play here. We do.
We
100%.
We need it.
And everyone thinks that all the clubs are in battle with each other and fighting. Like, we need each other for sure.
Yep.
Guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
It's
you
a
very
blast.
much. Folks, we hope you enjoyed it. Don't get up yet.
I'm not.
Look in the
Don't get up
camera
yet.
and look pretty.
Okay.
And we hope you enjoyed this conversation. I know it's so long, and I hope you hung around for the whole thing. This is great information. And honestly, gentlemen, I really appreciate you doing this and being open and honest and with the conversation and telling us what you think about this. Because, there may be people out there, you're watching, looking at this stuff. Youth baseball is sometimes tough to navigate. But that's what Youth Baseball Midwest is. What we want to be able to do is have these types of conversations, get to know people, so you understand how to navigate it. So there you go. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button down below. Like it, share it out with your friends, all of that stuff there. Have a great day in the Lord. Pitchers.
You got some advice for pitchers?
Do your arm care.
I like that. I like that.
It's a long season. Get those arm care. Get that arm care in. Keep your arm in shape.
Hitters.
Remember, your job's way harder than the pitchers.
On that note, we'll see y'all next time.